All right, good morning, Ben. Thanks again for joining us here on ESPN 1000. Jeff Joniak and the head coach, Ben Johnson. I just got to keep saying congratulations, man. It's been something.
Yeah, no, it was really good. We needed to get that one. We hadn't won in the division yet, and so that was huge for our squad. And being on the road, hostile environment, I thought they handled that really well. And like I said, from week one, going against that same outfit was a lot of the same story in terms of getting a lead and then faltering just a little bit there going in the fourth quarter, and yet we were able to pull it out there at the end. So that did show some growth for us, particularly on the road.
What's the benefit for this team right now, and your staff for that matter, living in this space of dramatic finishes? I know you'd like to make it a little more pronounced in the end and not sweat it out, but there is a benefit to this, isn't there?
Well, I think we've proven that we're a clutch team. All three phases, you don't know which one necessarily is going to rise to the occasion, but yet we've had a number of games where that's happened: offense, defense, and special teams, where when something's on the line, when the game's on the line late like that, someone's going to make a play for us, and so that's huge. And I've been saying it all along. We've got a number of things that we need to continue to improve on and get better at. But when you're winning like this, it's a little bit of a medicine going down with that tough pill to swallow sometimes.
Yeah, but especially for coming on the road in this fashion. My friend Kyle Brandt from NFL Network, noted Bears fan, says this is the too much time team. So there were 50 seconds left after Minnesota scored. So you leave the Bears too much time, Ben Johnson and his crew will figure out a way. That's kind of an interesting moniker.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take it, and I think we've proven that. I think our guys have earned that reputation if that's what they're going around right now. I think we got a lot of belief in what we're doing. We got a lot of belief in these players. The locker room is really strong, and I give them a lot of credit for being able to withstand some of the hardships that we've gone through so far. Because some teams I've been on, you might fold, and yet this crew doesn't do that. I think that's a credit to the veteran leadership we have there. Guys like Joe Tooney and Kevin Byard and Grady Jarrett. I mean, they've seen it all, and so I think they're a good steadying force for the rest of the guys in that room.
Here with head coach Ben Johnson on ESPN 1000, breaking down the Bears' win on the road. What did your tape reveal in the aftermath of this one?
Well, I thought our defense played really good football throughout that game. We allowed the 85-yard drive there in the fourth quarter that we certainly would like to have back, but I thought they fought their tails off. A big objective of ours was to limit the explosive plays. They got some dangerous receivers between 18 and Addison and Hawkinson. I mean, they've got them all over the place, and so for the most part, we did limit those explosives and made them go the long, hard road and forced a lot of punts. We had the two takeaways. So I thought they played winning football throughout that game. Special teams was a little bit of a different story in terms of starting really fast. I thought some of the best kickoff coverage we've had of all year long. I thought Cairo did a great job on the kickoffs with some of those dirty balls and making it difficult on the returners. And then, towards, call it the third quarter, we got a little bit leaky in a couple of things. We gave up a big punt return, had an uncharacteristic running into the returner on their punt return team as well. Missed the field goal, some things like that pop up. And then yet they finish as strong as they do with that big return and in the field goal there at the end, which we desperately needed. So that was great to see. And then on offense, I think there's a number of things that we're going to be able to coach off of here. We knew that Flores was going to throw some stuff at us, and he did just that. I think we can learn from this tape. We got to be able to adjust better as a staff and as players there on the sideline, be able to handle some of the stuff that he was throwing at us a little bit quicker, and I think we would be more pleased with the result from that. But end of the day, all three groups did enough for us to come away with the win.
Now let's talk about that final drive after the return by Duvernay. I'm not going to bypass the Duvernay return. Also, the blocking was great and a great run, great call. Did you put this one on the offensive line of the run game? because this offensive line is becoming a significant force for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of shift in that situation, 50 seconds, three timeouts. You shift from going and thinking you're in 2 minute mode to, well, we're back to playing regular football, and we're right on that line of where we feel comfortable with Cairo. And we know every 5 yards from here on out is a major deal in terms of increasing the field goal percentage. And so, yeah, we want to lean on the run in that situation. Each one's a little bit different. They were in a heavy package on defense, so it was going to be tough sledding. Um, we don't execute the second down play as well as we'd like, and we end up having a negative run. But that third down play was huge for us because I think if we don't quite do that, it's going to put us in a tough spot, and potentially need to go for it there on fourth down. But uh, by being able to make it in that comfortable spot there, and Cairo, you see him at pregame and he's making these kicks, and it gives you confidence when you see how these guys are performing in pregame. So we felt really good as a staff putting him in that spot, and he came through for us.
How'd you like the Jonah Jackson pancake on Jalen Redmond on that 7-yard swift run?
Yeah,
That was dirty across the board.
yeah. I think Jonah's playing some really good football for us. He's one of the unsung heroes right now for us on offense. He's been a glue guy. We have a number of guys like that, but those glue guys, they just keep things together, and their name might not get called as much. And particularly playing offensive line, that happens a lot. But yet he's playing some really, really good football. I think he's been a steady force in the locker room. And I'm really, really grateful that we have him on the roster.
All right, so Josh Blackwell, great block, kicked out Tavier Thomas. Hicks and Amon doubled up Tyler Batty, and then Duvernay hit the gas. I know there's more to it than just that on the kick return. Was that a counter?
Yeah, we were bouncing that thing on out to the right, and you give Coach Hightower a lot of credit for scheming that one up and getting it ready to go for us there this week. And that's an interesting group that you're going against because they're a little bit unorthodox with how big their guys are. They have a lot of long and linebacker, tight end type body, D linemen on their kickoff team, and so when you're doing that, it's very challenging to block those guys. And so, we felt like we had a chance to utilize our speed, and credit to the whole crew being able to cover those guys up, and Duvernay turning on the gas, and it's huge, huge play for us.
Oh my gosh. Really, really huge. Ben Johnson, our guest here on ESPN 1000, breaking down the Bears' win over the Vikings. Caleb Williams, now in 19 of his 27 NFL games, no interceptions thrown. Seventh, fourth quarter comeback. We know the math this year already, five. How significant is that to avoid those mistakes in a hostile environment like Minnesota and threw the ball away a lot of times? Just making those decisions and how it helped you.
Yeah, I think he's really conscious of how important the turnover battle has been for us in these wins right now. And it was something that the staff really harped on over the course of the week with not just him, but our ball carriers, our pass catchers, all those guys, anybody that was going to touch the ball this week. We had to make sure that we weren't giving them anything cheap. And they do a great job of forcing fumbles and getting takeaways themselves. And so when you come up +2 in that turnover battle, that's a huge deal. And Caleb is really leading the charge. He really hasn't put the ball in jeopardy a whole lot. There's a couple of those that get tipped up over the course of the game that you're holding your breath a little bit on the sideline, hey, and then you see it hit the ground, and it's okay. We're back on course here. But that's part of playing the position that happens, and really sometimes those are the interceptions that you can live with when it's really more of a contested pop up or a batted ball, something of that nature. He's doing a great job not throwing it into traffic, and like I said, just very conscious of making sure that we end the play with the ball in our hands.
Tight end involvement was huge. 12 targets, 9 catches, 93 yards. But to me, the physical finishes after the catch by Loveland and Komet were significant. They played a lot of snaps together. Smythe got 16 snaps. Was that a big part of what you wanted to do?
Man, I tell you, I'm really happy with where this group is right now. It's not just this week; it's the last few weeks. I think there's an argument that they're the most consistent position group on offense right now. Just they're playing fantastic football in really protection in the run game and catching the ball. Cole Kmet, he's blocking his tail off. He had a number of matchups there in pass pro on their defensive ends, and he does a fantastic job. And so, yeah, it's great to see them come to life. You feel their physical presence. I'm right there on the sideline when Cole catches the one. It's a 1 or 2 yard catch, and he ends up driving it for 10 yards. You feel the whole sideline around you start to erupt because it gives you momentum, and I mean, you feel the defensive players jump out of their seats on the bench, and it really gives us a spark. And so, real big credit to those guys and how well they've been playing, not just this week, but the last few weeks.
Last one, Nashawn Wright playing with that heavy heart. What was that leading up to the game like? I'm sure you were aware of him losing somebody very significant in his life tragically, and then to make that play in the end zone, you could feel the emotion from any seat in the building.
Yeah, it's I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I knew how big of a week this was for him. That's always a challenging thing to go through. I like to think that the beauty of football is the strength of the locker room and your buddies rallying around you when you're down. And I felt that. I felt that from our team. They all knew what he was going through. And so yeah, you can't say enough. I knew he was going to go out there and give all his all, and he was going to make some plays for us. He was a guest captain for a reason here this week, and I think the guys recognize that, and I thought he played some fantastic football. So really proud of him.
I lied. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know if he's playing. So again, you have a 50-50. You don't know this week, right? This has been a theme too this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as it goes. And I'm not even there yet in my
Yeah,
head.
right.
Yeah, he's still trying to clean this one up, but um, yeah, I mean it's just on to the next one.
Yep.
7-3, you guys have earned it. It's been great, and really the same story for where we're at in the season. It's still November. We got to continue to get better, and we got to find a way to go 1-0 this next week.
All right, Ben. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you, Jeff.
That's Bears head coach Ben Johnson, Jeff Joniak on ESPN 1000.